Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at a shield, which is definitely kind of an odd shield, that specifically has a very real purpose, but let's go over it together and we'll take a look. It is known as the BlackOak Luna. Now, the BlackOak Luna does have a kind of an interesting appearance, as you can see, kind of a big diamond in the center, and has a very kind of like almost kind of futuristic kind of a look in its construction. I've always been quite enamored with the way that it looked. It might not be the prettiest shield in the world, but it certainly is a very attractive one nonetheless. This particular shield has 372 defense. It also has a block chance of 50%, which is on paladins. It has a block chance of 45% on Amazon, Assassin, and Barbarian, and a block chance of 40% on Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress. It has a smite damage of 17 to 29, and of course this can be upgraded later, so we'll explore that. It has a durability of 129, which is pretty high. A strength requirement of only 100, which is actually pretty low, especially when you consider the obviously the Monarch shield. And actually, you know what? This one might be an elite shield. I mean, yeah, this is an elite shield already. What am I talking about? So this is already upgraded to its maximum form. It also is level 61, which is relatively low for an elite shield, honestly, and you can probably put this on just about anybody toward the end of the game. It has a 4% chance to cast level 5 Weaken when struck, which is the ability for the curse to pop out, which will reduce the amount of damage that the monsters can dish out to you. The amount of damage that a monster does in physical damage only, by the way. So Weaken is a negative 33% physical damage curse, and it does gain now more damage per level. So at level 5, I believe we are talking about, 5 plus 33, so 5, so 38. So it's negative 38% to melee damage, which will help keep you alive a little bit. It also has a 50% faster block rate on here, so not faster blocking, or not increased chance of blocking, but faster blocking, which is actually pretty good for any character who might have relatively low faster blocking to begin with. Paladins don't really tend to need a huge amount of faster blocking, especially when they're using Holy Shield. But any character that is not a paladin actually does need a pretty decent amount of faster blocking to make the blocking fast enough to be worth it. And 50% is a pretty large number. We also have an enhanced defense on this of 160 to 200%, which means the shield does vary in defense by quite a bit, from around 320 to 370-ish defense. And it also has a dexterity based on character level, which is pretty massive and actually does help the block chance. So if you guys are unaware, dexterity specifically governs your block chance. So right now you can see I have a 23% chance to block, and if I start putting points into dexterity, it will actually go up. This means that the shield not only gives you 50% faster block rate, but also helps out your block chance as well by increasing your dexterity. Dexterity also, of course, gives you attack rating and gives you a little bit of extra defense, which is certainly very nice. If you are a ranged character, by the way, which the only ranged character that could utilize this shield would be a Javazon, the Javelins will also do extra damage because dexterity on ranged characters is your off-weapon ED, so it's 47% off-weapon ED. We also have a life based on character level, which goes all the way up to 123, which is 1.25 per character level. And then we also have another character level based effect, which is cold absorption of 58 cold absorb based on character level, which means that this shield is an extremely defensive shield. Number one, we have 50% faster block, which is going to be very, very nice to help keep us alive when we are blocking. Number two, we have weaken, which is going to lower the amount of physical damage that monsters do when they hit us. We have dexterity, which increases our defense, increases our block chance, and gives us a little bit more attack rating. We have a bonus to life, which of course is also going to help keep us alive because the larger our life pool is, the more damage we can sustain. And then on top of that gives us a cold absorb of 58, which is just massive and goes all the way up to 61 based on character level. What does Cold Absorb do? Well, basically what it does is whenever a cold damage effect hits us, it takes away that number, so it takes away 58, and then it adds that 58 back to our health after the calculations are finished. So if we were to take, for instance, like 100 cold damage, and a monster hit us for this 100, you would subtract 58 from that number, which brings it down to 42. The 42 would hit our health orb, we would take the damage, and then it would add 58 back to our health, because we are, of course, being healed. We're absorbing the effect. So that 100 damage minus 58 goes to 42. We take the 42 damage, and then we basically minus another 52, because quite honestly, 58. We minus another 58, because quite honestly, the healing is going to counter the damage that we just took, which means that we're literally going to over heal by 16, which is pretty nuts. So we literally would gain 16 health back from taking 100 cold damage, which is pretty sweet. Which means that you can use the BlackOak Luna specifically to help guard yourself against cold damage effects. For instance, if you were in PvP and you were fighting a frozen orb sorceress, you could perhaps put a perfect sapphire in here, get a little bit more cold resistance, put this on while you were fighting her, and you would have a pretty massive cold absorption along with some nice cold resistance against her specifically. The cold absorption, of course, will not protect you if she kills you. So this is one of the important things that you have to know about cold absorption, or rather absorption in general. The healing effect of absorption happens after you take the damage, okay? So if you cannot take the damage, you will not be healed. This is important. It's very important when you consider absorption, because if a person is able to one-shot you with the ability before your absorption takes effect, then the absorption will not heal you for anything. This also comes in an ethereal version, which is 558 defense, by the way, has 10 less strength requirement of only 90, and quite honestly, I'm not really sure you'd want to put a Zod rune in that or anything, but it could be a very interesting choice for the Act 3 Mercenary, specifically because the Act 3 Mercenary has relatively low dexterity, and it could help keep him alive. The weaken would help keep him alive. The life would help keep him alive. The dexterity could help him put on better swords, which is the only thing that he can use, by the way, is swords. And phase blades have 136 dexterity, which is relatively high, and I've had trouble with mine putting swords on him, so it's definitely an interesting option. As far as whether or not you would specifically keep that as his best in slot piece, maybe not, but it certainly could come in handy for a little while. Let's take a look and see where we could potentially find ourselves a BlackOak Luna shield, because, obviously if we're looking for this specifically for the cold absorb, we might want to actually get our hands on it. So let's take a look on Silo's pen real quick, and we'll see if we can figure out where specifically this item is going to drop from. So being a level 61 item, let's assume we've got at least about 250% magic fine. That seems about right. And let's take a look at the bosses first. So it looks like Mephisto in Nightmare is our best bet at 1 in 987. Not bad. And Diablo in Nightmare at 1 in 1030. Those are both relatively easy to farm. In fact, honestly, in my opinion, I think Diablo is much easier to farm than Mephisto in Nightmare difficulty, because you know exactly where he is. In Nightmare difficulty, he's not difficult. You can kill his seal pop. You can just kill the seal bearers real quick, and then you can just move on with your day. Very, very easy to farm Diablo in Nightmare difficulty, especially as a higher level character. Let's take a look at the super uniques. So we've got Cow King in Hell has a really good chance. That's actually a pretty good place to farm as a higher level character. Cow King in Nightmare has a much worse chance, but also not terrible at 1 in 4,200. And Neelathak in Nightmare is actually not bad either. A lot of these chances are getting pretty terrible, but it does look like Eldritch, Shank, Doc Farron, Pindle, all in Nightmare difficulty, by the way, are fairly easy to get this item from. I'm also noticing here Bishy Bush, Rockanishu, Treehead Woodfish, Bone Ash. These are actually good to farm if you're trying to get yourself a Harlequin Crest Shaco. And since they can also drop this item, kill two birds with one stone. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when it is about a very interesting cold absorption shield like the BlackOak Luna. It certainly doesn't take up a lot of space, and I guess, quite honestly, if you wanted to use this shield or keep it around just in case you ran into a massive cold pack of monsters, it could come in handy. I got the runes here like I was going to upgrade it to. It doesn't upgrade. It doesn't. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and